What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva. Before we even get started, go ahead and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Are you prepared to go on this little discussion with me regarding Real Housewives of Atlanta? Into the woods. My, what a tangled web we weaved this episode with these ladies. There is a lot to discuss and cover on this episode. I'm going to try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. God, I wish I could do it like one of my bloggers I follow, but I just like to talk about all the issues that I see in these episodes because, I mean, it's really sad to see grown-ass women act the way that some of these women do, which, number one, makes me feel pretty fabulous about my life. But number two, it also exposes a lot of issues that go on not only between women, but black women especially. One of the main issues right now is the fact that Portia is currently under attack for going out to seek treatment for something that she is very much aware of, which is being able to control her anger. The irony of it all is, and I wonder if the Blackish writers were inspired this week, because one of the things that they covered in this past week's episode of Blackish was Dre and Bo having these issues. Like, Dre has anger management issues. He goes to see a therapist and is given tools to learn how to manage and deal with this. Well, the same thing is going on with Portia here in her life. She's trying to learn how to manage her anger. We also learned in, what was it, last week, 2 episodes ago, that Portia has some health issues where she has a blood flow problem to her brain, probably an arterial blood flow problem. So that may be why sometimes Portia may have some challenges when it comes to expressing herself. Not to mention those things that stem from childhood where she was bullied in high school. So when we open up this episode, we open up with Kenya and Phaedra, frack and whack, because that's the label that Portia gave them. But what I found interesting in this whole scenario is how so very dramatic Kenya can be when it comes to having to face her own bullshit, basically, is what it is. So when we open up this episode, she's coming into the camping store because she's going to pick up supplies, but also Phaedra thought it was a good way. I don't know why I keep interchanging these women's names. Phaedra thought it would be a good idea to meet up with Kenya to see where she is mentally, considering what happened at the dinner that they were supposed to have, which apparently was the dinner that never happened, thanks to Kenya coming for Portia about her psychological help that she is getting. She comes into the camping store and she says something that I'm kind of like, why would you say that about Phaedra when you're actually, I think she's probably, I take that back. Cynthia is the oldest cast member as far as age goes, because Cynthia is almost 50, but you're right in behind her. Phaedra is only 41 years old, so she's like, I'm looking for a little old lady. I'm like, see, that's the type of crap we be talking about with you, Kenya Faye. That's her new name for her, by the way. I call her Kenya Faye now. So Phaedra said that she wanted to get some things for camping. She tells the guy last time we had a portable flushable toilet or whatever. He said, well, the best I can do is an eye poo shovel. He was basically like, y'all get it popping in the woods with this right here. This all you need. And Kendra said there's nothing glamorous about carrying a shovel around to hide your shit. I was like, perhaps that would be a tool that you could use because you're notorious for hiding your shit. As a matter of fact, you're notorious for throwing it and then hiding your hand with the evidence of it having been there, Kenya. Please don't go there. Phaedra says that they essentially did not even get to eat dinner. She says, I think that this will be basically, Phaedra's whole point in doing this is to have like a team building coming together for these ladies, because she says, we don't even know how to act in public. It's very embarrassing what happened. She said that, what did she say? She said, we look like urban crazy street fighters. I said, well, all right, Faye. That's a good way to describe it. So Kenya, being Kenya, felt some type of way and basically was like, well, I'm from the urban area and I don't think that that's a fair assessment. I don't act crazy. Kenya, this entire episode, you did not take ownership of anything that you've ever done. you do act crazy. Was it or was it not you who was in the parking lot in a dress, in heels, duck walking? You didn't think that looked crazy? When you were trying to get on Sheree's level? Okay, girl, whatever. Phaedra decides to talk about this whole issue with Portia. But before that, when King was lying about not being crazy, that's when Phaedra was like, oh, gotta go a little Matrix on you. Gotta go a little Matrix on you. Oh, I know, girl, that's right. Dodge the lightning that's getting ready to come down and strike up a line like that. Kenya feels as though anger management is not working for Portia. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, but it is, because you got to leave there with all your teeth in your head. Because Lord knows that the old Portia probably would have knocked you out and dragged you. You left with all your hair intact, right? Okay, so anger management is working because she walked away, even though you continued to antagonize her as she was walking away, because you felt like you should follow her just to prove the point that anger management isn't working, because you're notorious for provoking her. And just like Phaedra said, you had the match right there. You were ready to go. When Phaedra said that Portia said she felt like, or that Phaedra in general says she felt like people were attacking Portia, what Kenya said next was very, very disturbing, and that just lets me know how messed up her mental capacity is, which lets me know that not only does Kenya need to be on medication, she might want to try meditation too, okay? Since you think that Portia needs help, Kenya, I personally think that you need to go see somebody. Because if this is truly who you are, and to have the audacity to fix your mouth to say such a thing when suicide is so prevalent right now in our communities, something is disturbingly wrong with you. She said, I'm tired of hearing that word attack. I'm like, what is this, a trigger word for her? I'm so tired of hearing it when it comes to Portia. I'm going to go get one of these ropes in this supply and hang. I would just much rather hang myself. I was just like, okay, personally at this point, the way most of us feel about you, although I wish death on no one, I'm sure other people were probably like, you might be doing us all a favor if you did. But either way, I thought that was highly inappropriate. And I just don't see the reason. Meanwhile, Portia does go and see her therapist about how she handled the situation. She was saying that she wasn't sure if she really wanted to go on this glamping trip. And basically she said, if I do go, I'll need a support system. And so he gave her some things she could use, like do these scenarios in your head, visualize how you're going to handle this person, that person, how you're going to handle, what's your legacy going to be. So I thought that was awesome. And I think it's going to be okay, because when we see later on in the episode, I think that Portia did quite well. But I love how Portia said, but Candy did talk to me like a trick off the street, and she did. I don't know what's going on, but I was watching another one of my favorite bloggers, It's Rock, and she has an interesting theory that I've been thinking about all along, because remember, the theory is that, or the rumor out there, or it was articulated that Shamea and Portia had been propositioned by Todd and Candy. Well, as we know, Portia says she don't get down like that. I don't know if Shamea did, because for judging from this episode, obvious that there is a drifting away or coming together of Shamea and Candy when Shamea was Portia's friend. This is reality TV. It makes for a good conversation. It makes for good theory. So I don't know if maybe the reason, if you notice, every time Portia begins to talk, Candy gets vehemently, like smoking hot mad whenever she says anything. And it's more than just her confronting her about spilling the beans on Phaedra. It goes deeper than that. It's like something is up. And X-Rocks brought that theory up, and I thought that was an interesting theory, because I'm like, I could see that. Scorn, love kills. Okay. Dr. Cynthia Bailey wants to can she help fix your life? I think it was Justin J pointed out that, well, since Cynthia ain't got no husband, the lake house scenario is taken care of. She needs storyline, so why not just latch on to the whole drama that is Matt and Kenya? Well, as we know, Hurricane Matt came through and tore up Kenya's house once again. Cynthia decides to insert herself into the scenario. She decides to play Dr. Cynthia Bailey and talks to Matt. Matt basically shares with her what we all see and witness and we know. Kenya, not to say that you should allow anyone to control your behavior, but for some reason, something about Kenya that just makes people just lose their damn mind and lose their cool. But it's like she loves to punch buttons. And honestly, I believe that Kenya is one of those people that gets off on doing that to people. Have you ever met people like that where they say things? Like I used to have a friend that on the slick would say stuff all the time. But I kind of was just always like, well, that's just how she is. But in the end, I had to realize this is not a healthy relationship. Maybe you really are a friend. Maybe that's how you know how to be a friend. But girl, good riddance. I ain't got time for the drama. Okay, I'm too old for this shit. Cynthia basically says to Matt, and she gave them like what anyone would say in any given. To me personally, I thought it was a great therapy session. I like the fact that she gave the disclaimer, by far I'm no expert, but because I'm going through a divorce. But in some respects, I will say this: in Cynthia's situation, maybe in some ways you are an expert because you've learned and grown from your situation. So in some respects, you might be an expert. Maybe Cynthia, the next thing for you, maybe not the modeling thing, maybe a life coach scenario. Just a thought. But she did point out to Matt that we all know that Kenya has issues and that she can be a bit of a drama queen. And if she's a drama queen, then you're a drama king. Also, let's not forget that Matt was in the Marine Corps. He is probably mentally unstable. I think he did see action over there. So, he's a veteran. So we should just pray for Matt and hope that he gets the help that he needs, which part of that help would be separating himself completely from Kenya Moore. Candy is hosting a white engagement party for her new bestie, Shamia. She brings along a new girl, Hazel, because we've seen everyone else. I felt like in this scenario that maybe the producers of Real Housewives of Atlanta decided to call everyone and say, hey, there's not a lot of you at this Shamia White party. I think you should drop whatever it is you're doing, and wherever you are, just drive on over to this restaurant and meet up with Candy. Candy played it out because everybody in the cast showed up in an array of colors. Not one of them was in white, including a friend of the show, Marlo Hampton, who, by the way, I love Marlo Hampton. She, honey, was all refined and Gucci. I said, I just don't have it in me to do what you do to get it, but I like the way you look, girl. I love it. So Sheree is there. Everyone is there except for Portia. Of course, Kenya does not get along with Shamia, and Phaedra doesn't get along with Shamia, I guess not either. And of course, her and Candy don't get along. It's these awkward moments. Shamia, when she gets there, is very disappointed to find out and learn that Portia it's highly likely that she's not coming. Messy Sheree, or should we call her shit starter Sheree? I love Sheree. I got nothing but love for her because I'm like, girl, do whatever you can to get Chateau Sheree together because, girl, what happened later on this episode was quite saddening. Somebody said Kenya is just ignorant. Yes, she is. Someone also said, take Kenya off the show. She is boring and miserable. Bring back Nene. Oh, Lord. I find it interesting that Portia didn't come. I probably still would have gone to the party. Sheree initially says, I don't think it would be appropriate for me to bring up the conversation that I had with Portia and Phaedra the other day when Phaedra spilled the beans that Shamia has a reputation of being around Atlanta, messing around with everyone's husband. Now, this week, I watched a video clip with Candy in it. I think she was on Entertainment Tonight or one of those shows that comes on in the evenings right before the game shows at 7. And basically, she was saying that you all are going to find out who Phaedra really is. That whole Southern Belle thing is a total and complete act. At the time that Phaedra stated what she stated about Shamia, it was learned that they were filming but weren't supposed to be filming. Like they got a break so that they could eat. And then the ladies pretty much were having secret conversations. So essentially the producers chose to take that time to record that particular scene. And so that's how it ended up on tape. And that's how all of us ended up seeing it. And then Candy said we all should keep watching because more and more we're going to find out that Phaedra is not all who she's cracked up to be. But I'm just like, at the same time, both of y'all's hands aren't clean. Both of you have said some nasty things about each other. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, what really did happen is that you betrayed your friendship by allowing your husband to help out his homeboy who was going to prison, who needed to pay restitution, and who knows what the feds had told Phaedra that was going to happen to her and her kids if they didn't come up with the property that her soon-to-be ex-husband, who is now imprisoned, left behind. I'm just saying. So both of y'all have unclean hands, bottom line. So I don't get it. I don't get where the hate comes from. One of the things I did wonder is, why was Portia not throwing the white party for her best friend? I didn't get that. So I find that interesting. It seems as though, like I said, Candy and Shamia are very, very close. And Candy said that she looks to Shamia as like her little sister. So Sheree claims she's not going to share, but she does. Because all of a sudden the conversation is Candy takes them off to the side. Cynthia, Sheree, Shamia, and Candy are talking away from the rest of the girls. And that's when Sheree shares that. And then once again, you know, Shamia is shocked, talking about, well, if that's the case, if it's true of screwing around everyone's husband, I could have been fucking her husband because Apollo approached me. Okay. Not to mention, once again, because Nene had brought this up, that, you know, Phaedra has the reputation of essentially being a head doctor. Although Shamia did the gesture. So, I don't know. They said, well, I always knew who she was, but this Southern Belle thing is an act. Well, we know that Phaedra is very much in touch with her sexuality. So, I mean, if that's what she do, that's just what she do. I mean, oh, let your freak flag fly, girl, I guess. I don't know. But either way, y'all know I'm Team Phaedra all day, every day. So I'm a little biased. I'm probably a little Portia-like when it comes to Phaedra. But what I did find interesting is that Shamia said, okay, what did Portia say in my defense? And if y'all notice, Portia just sat there and acted like she was about to black out. When she went over to Shamia's house after this night, because Sheree did share that, well, Portia didn't say anything. And if y'all notice, Portia didn't say anything. She just had this look on her face like, I don't know what I should do in this situation. When Shamia does confront her about it, Shamia lets her know, I'm very hurt that you didn't show up. I don't get along with Phaedra, but if Phaedra was throwing something for you, I would have shown up for you. Would you have shown up? Comment down below and let me know. If you were having a conflict with the person throwing a party, or if you knew someone was going to be, would you show up for your best friend or family member? Comment down below. Let's talk about that. But Shamia really has strong feelings about Phaedra and how Phaedra has talked about Portia in the past. My thing is this, who hasn't talked about Portia in the past, about her level of intelligence? Because Candy does it now all the time. Yes, Phaedra has said some not so nice things about Portia. So has the majority of the cast. So you warning her to watch out for Phaedra is nothing new under the sun. I'm sure that Phaedra and Candy probably had shits and giggles together at the expense of Portia. I'm just saying. Portia denied. She basically pleaded the fifth. She's like, I don't know what I said. I could have said anything. And I was like, honestly, I'm going to give Portia the benefit of the doubt. She may not truly recall whether she said anything or not, because she recently had blacked out. Short-term memory loss. Could have happened. I don't know. But then again, I do think that she might be pulling a Phaedra. Because Phaedra quick to be like, well, you know, I don't recall. Kenya wins the crown not only as Miss USA, but also as Miss Drama Queen. So Cynthia she comes over to Cynthia's house with these damn dogs. You know, I love dogs, but I don't take my dog everywhere. First of all, I ask people permission. Can my dog come over to your house? Okay, can my fur baby come over? She brings the dogs over to her house. They start pissing and pooping all over Cynthia's front lawn. And Cynthia's like, well, didn't nobody ask me? Then they come into the house. I'm concerned because this is Cynthia's brand new home. And these dogs still are not very housebroken. Okay, which is, I don't know, but either way, it was very rude, and it just goes to show you what was going to happen in the end. They get on the dock, they talk about Cynthia's meeting with Matt. She shares with her what happened, how she was trying to relate to Matt, and it was going to be a back and forth, but it never got there. Kenya was like, Matt is childish. What did you say in my defense? She was like, well, I told him that, that you were, kind of a drama queen. But what really was said was that she basically said that Matt said he reacts to whatever you do. And that's abuse. I was like, how is that abuse? How, Sway? How? And so Cynthia never was able to finish, getting past the drama queen thing. You know me. You know better than that. Why would you say that about me, Cynthia? I thought you were on my side. You're supposed to be my friend. No. And I'm just like, that's why Cynthia knows you, because you are a drama queen. Okay, you just are. And so, she says that she's dealing with a child, and I'm like, both of y'all need to go find your Legos, because both of you act like kids. You honestly shouldn't be together. Matt can do better. I felt bad for Matt throughout this, because he said he wanted to marry her. I'm like, good luck with that. She is not wifey material, not yet, not until she goes see somebody. She gets mad and twirls away in a firestorm, and she says something that I thought was very, very poignant in that moment. She says she's tired of being the bad girl. I almost feel as though Kenya brings it up 10 notches too high because she thinks that she can do it like Nene. Well, the truth of the matter is, if you're acting and trying to be someone that you're not, that is why it's not coming across as genuine. And that is why we have a problem. So if you're tired of being the bad girl, you might want to truly evolve, like you expressed to Cynthia that you had evolved. Now, when they meet up for glamping, they do kiss and make up, but either way, it's still a hot mess. The day of glamping is interesting. I thought one of the other funnier lines out of this is when Sheree was in front of Chateau Sheree with a renter table and some Publix deli fans, okay? When she popped open the bottle of champagne, she said, woo, woo, that's for some of the dead homies. I said, you know what, Sheree, I can't do you. I really can't. But it was funny to me. But I was very disturbed by this array of display, this disarray of a display. Everybody's supposed to come to your house. They can't come in the house. I think someone else said it. Maybe it was Justin J. or Alex Rogers, or maybe it was, I don't remember. But somebody made a good point. Why didn't you just invite people over to your condo? Because at least they could have had some place to sit down and air conditioning. That was just, well, it is a construction site. Or why didn't everybody just swallow their pride and go over to Kenya's house? I mean, Kenya had a nice spread. I don't know if dust was flying all around it, but I mean, it was a nice spread, and I felt more like I would have been hanging out at Kenya's house, more so than Sheree. Marlo showed up. Marlo takes glamping to a whole other level, honey. She showed up in her cargo pants and stilettos, and I was like, girl, we going in the woods. We ain't going to no damn, this ain't a club called The Woods. No, this is The Woods. Like, you need sneakers and boots. And not thigh-high boots with heels, okay? I said, Lord, Marlo. I love Marlo, though. Why did they have to go get in cars to hang out? Like, that made no sense. Meanwhile, Portia shows up with her sister Lauren. Marlo is Sheree's support. Portia does talk to Sheree about her spilling the tea, and basically Sheree said in her confessional that she is the voice of truth in all of this, and she is tired of these girls talking behind their back. No, Sheree, you're tired of begging for money, I think you just want to make sure you keep a check so you can complete Chateau Sheree and get it finalized and get a move-in date, because you still don't have one. And someone keeps saying that you have mold in the walls. I don't know how true that is, but you might want to get that taken care of. Somebody gonna die before they get to glamping. Problem, everybody went to Kenya's Castle Grayskull, but yeah, the bus can't come down to the hill to meet y'all. Maybe y'all should have had your assistants wait at the curb, because everybody had their assistant drop them off, I noticed. I think Candy's assistant, Phaedra's assistant, everybody's assistant dropped them off. Maybe you should have had them wait at the top of the hill, because poor Candy talking about she was out of breath and I didn't think she was going to make it, okay? She brought little Hazel along. Little Hazel, I'm just going to tell you right now, girl. Just be quiet and watch. Be an observer. Because some of these women are loose cannons. Number one, you tried it with Marlo. Okay. I thought it was funny during this episode, though I will say this. When they were like, where's where's Phaedra? And then Portia was like, I know she better not be down there at her other friend's house. But I'm like, Portia, you never called and confirmed with her, and I think that she feels more of a friendship with you than she does with Sheree. So, of course, she's going to go down the Kenya's way. I think that's why Phaedra went to Kenya's. And then, too, if she found out that Sheree's spread was going to be an outdoor housewarming, yeah, I wouldn't want to be. And Georgia heat is hot as hell, okay? I'm from the South. It's hot, okay? I love the fact that Marlo is going and no one told Kenya that Marlo was coming. Everybody get on the bus! And everybody keep their hands and feet to themselves, please. Okay? I think, honestly, everyone on this trip needed a support system. Because Phaedra was very surprised that everybody brought a friend, phoned a friend, and brought them along. Marlo has decided that she is going to take on, she wants to be part of the itinerary, and that she will have an Ask Marlo segment. This is why I said little Hazel needs to have a counseling session. Little Hazel decides to speak out and ask the wrong big mouth, why are we going to ask Marlo? And then Kenya like, Hazel want to know why we going to ask Marlo. And I was like, Marlo was like, I think I'm more versed in fashion than you are, something to that effect. And Hazel was like, oh. And then Marlo goes, because if it was about skincare, I would have asked you because you have such pretty skin. And then she was like, God. I was like, girl, Marlo about that life. You don't want to catch them hands or a knife or whatever it is she might be carrying as a weapon. Just shh, be quiet, Hazel. We get to Portia on the bus in her presence. And Cynthia said, I heard that you weren't coming, but I'm glad that you're coming. Then that's when the sharing of the notes starts. And that's when Candy's like, this is some bullshit. By the way, I was so happy to see in this episode Candy with a new confessional outfit, because honest to God, the other one that they had been showing made me very uncomfortable, and I felt like it was Riley's like homecoming dress or something. I mean, her nipples look like they would pop out at any minute, and I'm like, Candy, where you going with this little dress on? But then it showed back up during the camping trip, so I'm not sure when they filmed. Maybe they flipped some scenarios, the editing, I don't know. But either way, I was like horrified that it was back. Candy is going off about Portia and how it's just some fake ass shit. She's trying to be like her mentor. Don't nobody care about this. I was glad that Lauren jumped in. It was like, maybe you all should just shut up and listen and be empathetic to what it is that she has to say. Kenya's like, I'm tired of hearing attack. I swear attack is a trigger word. I was like, God damn, you act like a damn German shepherd. Like, attack is a word. Is that a trigger word for you, Kenya? Attack! And you just go off. Because Portia was like, I felt like y'all were condescending to me the other day. That's why I really didn't want to talk about it. And they know that their questions about her mental health was not coming from a place of love or concern. It was coming because you wanted to be mean girls. And that's essentially what you were doing to Portia. It just gets really ugly. And that's when, wait a minute, Portia said, well, you sound angry. And I'm not angry. Portia says, you sound like it. And Kenya said, you would know about that. And Portia said, yeah, I would. And I see it in you too. I was like, ouch, touched a nerve. Did you see Kenya's face? And I was like, oh, Jesus. So essentially, Portia and Candy and Kenya, I hope y'all survive the woods. But I am so glad that Marlo Hampton is there to be the voice of reason that scared the shit out of Kenya, because Kenya can't say too much of anything next week. I love the previews. I love what I saw so far. It looks like Marlo is not only slaying fashionably, but she is letting go and let have and slicing and dicing it on Kenya Moore's ass. Okay. She says she is evil, bipolar, and can't keep a broke man. I was like, God damn it. And then she really went for the jugular. They have her saying where, if their own mama don't want to have anything to do with them, they must be really evil. And I was like, Aunt Lori too, because we ain't seen Aunt Lori. We ain't heard mention of Aunt Lori. Aunt Lori got pissed off at her that last season when she showed up at her mama's house with the camera crew. So I don't know. And then Marlo seems to be asking Candy, I don't know if this is tell the truth session or what, but Marlo seems to be asking Candy in the previews, are you a lesbian? Do you bump donuts, Candy? Let's talk about that. But anywho, this review probably has been longer than it should have, but this episode was truly hilarious to me, and I can't wait for Sunday to come, because I want to see what this camping trip is going to be like. Hopefully, everybody's feet and arms stay to themselves. Hopefully, don't nobody get a log or anything tossed at them. Perhaps the coat hanger being used for the s'mores won't burn nobody. I don't know. But comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. And I will see you all probably Monday or Tuesday. As you know, I do apologize for delaying getting these out because I was trying to be more consistent. But like I said, I had an exam I had to prepare for my current place of employment. So, you know, Diva got to do what she got to do, honey, because Diva need money. Unless anybody wants to donate to the Diva Get Out of Corporate America Fund. Anywho, that's all I've got. You all have a great night, and you've been all that.